Hey everyone, Stefanie Mustian, your seasonal architect here with Framework Wellness. This is your transition to summer environmental energy, and this month we're going to be focused on your kitchen. So the rest of our videos this month have all focused on nourishment and nutrition. It would only make sense that our room is going to be where we nourish ourselves. So let's talk practically about a couple of things. So again, I'm a registered architect, so of course I'm going to have some pretty, I hope, insider opinions on how things work. For kitchens, I would like to debunk something right away. The work triangle isn't necessarily real because there's so many more things that come into play with this. So let me back up a little bit. You need somewhere in front of your refrigerator to actually put the things that are coming in and out of your fridge. That is more important than access to anything else. So the fridge needs an unload and load space that's ideally not the floor. While you're cooking, while you're prepping, while that food is on a surface, ideally you have somewhere to both cook and wash next to that food, right? And then a lot of commercial kitchens, they have the storage space, they have the prepping space where you're actually cooking, and then they have the prepping space where the things are already cooked and they're being put on dishes and plates. So if you think of these three areas where you store things, where you cook things, and where you prep things, the prep area is also oftentimes where things get washed. So that's a little more complicated than a simple work triangle, because if someone's doing one task like prepping food or washing, we don't want them interacting with the other person who is cooking. And even if it's just one person in the kitchen, having these areas designated and separate. This is where I would also come in and say, again, these are my preferences, but just things I've noticed, that open shelves are being used for decor, and I think we can do better than that. I would love it if you could just use open shelves for things you actually use day to day. And I know everyone talks about dust all the time, but again, if this is something you're using every day, this isn't as much of a problem, right? It's coming off and going back on. These are your everyday plates and your silverware. Here's a fun way to do silverware instead of shoving it into a drawer. Why don't you put it in really nice containers? I actually have my things in vases. And it looks really cool, and you don't have to be so precious about it, and you can have mix and match forks, and they actually look really neat, all standing up straight. Obviously your knives go down, I don't need to say that, right? Your forks and your spoons are facing up so you can see them, and again, everything's moving around so much. Honestly, dust is not a huge concern. If you have children and you are concerned that their stuff doesn't look as good, but you like it out like everyone else's, here's a simple solution. Do stainless for the kids. So stainless cups, ideally double walled so that they don't get moisture all over everything. And then plates, stainless steel plates. So again, the kids stuff can go out just like the adult stuff can. Now, as far as everything having its place, I'd like you to see if you can reassess your kitchen and figure out if how things are laid out is maybe optimal, or maybe if you could change some things. Maybe you realize that you put your spatulas way far away from where you're actually cooking, and you're like, why am I doing that? It's just become a habit. Let's go ahead and assess the space and see where everything goes. Everything having its place is also in the drawers and on your open shelves. So I love to use bamboo as my organizers, not only because it's more sustainable, but it often matches the inside color of the drawers already, so I just feel like it looks nice and clean. This is dividers and trays, and they even have roll holders for like your aluminum foil and your parchment paper if you want to take it that far. And then I'm a big proponent of labels, but those don't have to be fancy. Again, there are plenty of kits available online where you can make labels yourself. If you really want to get a little nerdy, go ahead and invest in maybe a label maker. It's become, embarrassingly or not embarrassingly, hey, I'm going to own this. I have a label maker and I don't use it often, but when I do, those remote controls are all labeled, and a lot of my kitchen stuff is labeled too. It definitely comes in handy if you use it in the right spot. And then what if you want to redo your spice jars? Maybe you make them all the same container. The great thing about that is you are no longer stuck buying only what's on the shelves. When you go to lovely farmers markets, you are refilling your spice jars with things you got at the farmers market instead. Again, really nice labels on those. If that resonates with you, if you are just like, Stefanie, please stop, just ignore everything I just said. Totally fine. And then if you want to get even deeper, of course, you can have organizers for your refrigerator, especially for your items that you use all of the time. Obviously, the things that come in and out, maybe not so much, but your staple items, why not? And as far as a refresh, really quick, towels are just a really great way to, let's switch those out. Maybe they're getting a little ratty. Maybe you consider getting more aesthetically pleasing sponges, scrubs, and maybe a refillable dish soap, maybe a pump that you can just refill. I'm attaching here my favorite item. So we've talked about ewg.org before, but for kitchen soap, hand soap, dish soap, even dishwasher stuff, I use the same company, Attitude, all the time because all of their stuff is EWG certified. It's safe, and I love that they have these refillable cartons that are attached here because I just have the same aluminum containers that look really nice, and I keep refilling them with these cartons, and it just feels so much easier to know that I've got a carton tucked under the sink or under the counter, and it's always there ready to refill. The most important thing about your kitchen or the space where you cook is that it flows and works for you, and it makes you feel like you actually want to be there. It makes you feel nourished so you can nourish yourself and possibly others. So those are quick thoughts on your kitchen. Again, as always, I'm your architect laying out a bunch of options. I want you to pick what resonates with you, get a little curious, and go explore. Take care. I'll see you next time.